So it's been a few months since I've talked about the Magic in a video. Did a vid for when they traded for Markelle Fultz, did another one for talking about Vucevic's free agency. Now that they just got eliminated, I guess we can put all of this into a blender and talk about everything. So, I think the first thing to talk about is Steve Clifford as this team's coach. The Steve Clifford thing is he walks in and he immediately cleans up all the dumb stuff. So, defensive rebound percentage, turnovers, personal fouls. The Magic were significantly better at all of these things this year. And that's step one, really. So now we assume that with a baseline of being an actual professional basketball team who's not going to do stupid things, that these guys can contend for, 40-something wins for a little while in the NBA, especially because they're in the Eastern Conference. But of course, that's not as interesting as saying how can they make the jump from 42 wins up to 50-plus wins and all that. So the first one, the obvious one, is someone on this team just goes to a different level. Do I think that's going to be Aaron Gordon? No, not really. I think he's meant to be this power forward who can do a little bit of everything, and hopefully he accepts that rather than trying to be like the Kobe Bryant of 6'10" dudes. Now, I think it's a good sign that Gordon shot less threes this year. I'm going to guess some of those were taking away the contested shots he would occasionally take. His assists were up, which I think is huge. Really, to me, I think the best version of Aaron Gordon is being a more athletic Draymond Green and embracing, just going all out on defense and being a playmaker and all that stuff. But even so, it does seem like his shooting might be a little better than Draymond's, and he can certainly get to the line more often than Draymond has and things like that. So that's the ideal world, I think, for him. Do I think he can ever be a defensive player of the year? I mean, he's got the body for it, but I don't think he really has the defensive instincts for it. But even so, I think he can certainly be a positive defensive player for you. So there's that. Now, the relationship between him and Jonathan Isaac is a very interesting one. Because you'd think, well, can they play together? Because neither one of them are great shooters or whatever. I mean, they played about 1,000 minutes together this season. It was a +3 net rating on Basketball Reference, which I think is pretty okay. That's a nice sign. I mean, Isaac's shooting has been kind of not bad up to this point in the NBA. I know I say this every time with Isaac, but I truly believe he can be a good shooter. I mean, his free throws are good, his form's good, his percentages are below average, yes, but I don't think they're god-awful either. Of course, he missed basically his entire rookie season with an ankle thing. Plus, I think Isaac and Gordon can just be really overwhelming on the boards and finishing around the rim, and they both can go off the dribble enough to where I think you're not going to be able to just leave them open, and they can cut. Plus, Vucevic is a good shooter, assuming he stays, which I kind of think he's going to. I think they will re-sign him. So he can give them some more spacing, and yeah, my gut feeling tells me the Isaac Gordon thing can work. Now, at the same time, the contract that they gave Aaron Gordon is a very tradable one. It's also just a great contract overall. I mean, if Gordon keeps on improving, then in 2021, they're paying him $18 million a year. That's a hell of a bargain if you ask me. With the cap, it's going to go up a little bit more and stuff like that. But at the same time, if they're a little disappointed in him, that's a great trade piece as well. So whatever ends up happening, where Isaac clearly needs to play the 4, or you can make it work with Gordon and Isaac, his contract makes it a lot easier to go through all of that. Now, we will get to Markelle Fultz in a little here, but just to mention Vucevic, I mean, I've said this a lot. I think Mo Bamba certainly shows signs. That's a bit of a tongue twister, but he's not good enough right now. Like, if Mo Bamba plays, the Magic would be like the worst team in the league. So you do need Vucevic in there, and I think it's fine to sign him to like a 3-year deal. And you hope that Bamba can be ready by that point, and if Bamba doesn't end up being ready, I mean, he's a trade chip as well. I don't know. They drafted him knowing that he's a project, so that's going to be a work in progress with him. I think we can get to Markelle Fultz now. So it'll be interesting to see where Fultz ranks in the priority of the team. As in, are they going to try to surround him with as much shooting as possible? Are they going to play DJ Augustine over him? I really don't know what the right answer to that is. I think what I would do is I would play him like 25 minutes a game. I guess coming off the bench, and when he's in there, try to put as much shooting around him as you can. I think you can play him with Augustine and Fournier and one of Gordon and Isaac, and then Vucevic can of course shoot. I think it would help them to get some more shooting off the bench. I don't know if Terrence Ross is going to be here because they already got to re-sign Vucevic, and he just had his best season, so he's going to want some money. So that'll be an interesting thing. But yeah, I think you definitely have to give Fultz a real chance here. I don't think you can just play him 15 minutes a game and hope that he shows you something. I think you kind of got to roll him out there, and of course give him the tools to be successful, but also be like, okay, Markelle, show us what you got, right? Because, I mean, I mentioned before, can any player on this team really become a star? I think Fultz is still probably the one who can do it. I mean, obviously the shooting is what it is, but he was the number one pick for a reason, so giving yourself the best possible chance for that to happen sounds like a pretty good idea. Another thing to point out is they have all of their draft picks. That's nice. And there's a chance that, while I think they should not get too crazy with trading firsts or anything, there is a chance that they could put together some decent offers depending on potential stars that are available over the next couple of years. Because they do have some assets. I mean, a first-round pick and Aaron Gordon, that's a pretty good offer. A first-round pick and Evan Fournier, also solid. A first and Mo Bamba. I could picture a team taking that one on. So while I'm not saying they should trade any of these guys, I am saying if the opportunity comes up, they can make some decent offers. So I think the Magic are in a decent spot at the moment. I do think that Terrence Ross matters quite a lot to them. So if they have to go over the cap a little bit to re-sign him, I don't think that would be a ridiculous move. I mean, number one, I don't think it's going to cost an arm and a leg to keep Vucevic and Terrence Ross. Number two, you got Mozgov, $16.5 million off the books after next season. So I think there's a way to keep most of their guys and not kill themselves with their salary. So that's what I got on the Magic. They're in a good spot.